This podcast may contain discussions of graphic violence, unsettling themes, supernatural phenomena, and other topics that some listeners may find disturbing or triggering. Listener discretion is advised. This podcast is intended for entertainment purposes only. The opinions expressed are simply those of the individual hosts and do not represent the profession of psychology or constitute professional advice. Welcome to the Secret Passage podcast. I am your host, Dana Vespoli, and with me, as always, the extraordinary Shannon Rogers.
Hello, everybody. I love these adjectives.
I'm inspired by Brett, but I've got to come up with like the weird ones.
Yeah, he says inimitable. You said that last time, right?
Yeah, he said that one, but like he'll also do funny ones, like capacious. You know, and I'm like, I guess she's capacious. Sure, she's capacious. You know, it's funny. It is our last episode of the summer season before we go on a short break. If you hear some barking, it is Bruno.
I hear some little feet too.
Those are Poochie's little feetsies along the floor. But yes, we are going to be going on a short break, and then we'll be back for spooky season, fall, my favorite time of year, and my birthday month. This month is my birthday month. But yeah, what we're discussing today. Well, there's a very specific case that we felt compelled to talk about because it's all over the news, and it's blowing people's minds, so to speak. I know it's baffling, but it also brings up a larger conversation point that Shannon and I have been talking about since we first had the idea of even doing a podcast. And that is the subject of family annihilators. And the unusual, it's less common case of female family annihilators. And recently, Emily Long, a mother from New Hampshire, killed her entire family, her two of her three children, her husband, and then herself in August. But before we get to that heavy ass topic, Shannon, did you happen down any interesting secret passages this past week?
Tim came home yesterday with this thing he found in a book. We find the best thing in books, like things in books, like letters and photos, and it's my favorite thing to collect them. And he opened a book, and he opened this just regular printer paper, and on it, it was like this Mac, early print off of a Mac screen where there was this, I guess it was a program for Macs way back in the day, and it was like pornography. And it was like, it said something like, I forget what the name of it was, but it had a woman just like a digital image of a woman, not, I mean, dot matrix image of a woman naked like this. And it was like, would you like to touch me? And it's all yes, no. And you could like push yes or no. And it was like a game or something you could play.
Oh, wow.
I know. I didn't do any research about the game, but it was pretty cool to see what old porn looked like. It was so tasteful. She had like a normal body. I mean, she was a drawing basically, but it was just a little time capsule.
I will go through books of mine. I have books going back to like my freshman year of college, and I'll flip through and I'll see notes that I've written in the margins. I'll see like sticky notes of like stuff. And then I will see the weird things that I've used as bookmarks. Like a canceled check, a receipt. I'll like open up the receipt and be like, what?
Yes.
This is a receipt from 101 Coffee Shop, which no longer exists, from like 2003, used as a bookmark. So it's funny the things that oh shit. When I think about books I've donated, I'm like, what? I hope I didn't leave anything weird in there. That's so
we found
funny.
money once, a card from a grandma to a granddaughter, and it had a check in it that she never cashed. And I wanted to find her, and I looked them up, and I think I did find them, but I didn't do anything with it because it's weird.
Was it like super old too? Like maybe
Really old.
it's probably past the point that you could even.
I think the grandma's dead. I
Oh,
saw an
okay.
obituary.
Shh.
If it's my
You did your
grandma,
research.
she's
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah. Here, this is from your grandma who passed. You never cashed the check. That's funny.
How are you? What was your secret passage? Did you have one?
Yes, I do. Maybe this is a topic that we should save for our Patreon episode.
Okay.
This topic, I've always got other secret passages, but this particular one is one that we can say because it's another one that has everybody just flummoxed. Like
Ooh.
what the fuck?
Okay.
So another secret passage that I have happened. Oh, there's so many like little weird things. One is
Mm-hmm.
my love of Sabrina Carpenter, which just feels strange because I'm going to be 53 in a few weeks, and her music is so poppy and bubblegum. But I just love her so much. I I've been listening to her latest album called
Mm-hmm.
Man's Best Friend.
Mm-hmm.
The best driving music. Sabrina Carpenter is just the best driving music. It's so like evocative. It makes me nostalgic. There's a lot of her music has a very 80s pop
Mm-hmm.
sound
Mm-hmm.
to it. It's just yeah, it's the opposite of listening to Radiohead. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Like
easy listening.
yeah, cuz like Pink Floyd or like Radiohead or even the Pixies for me.
Yeah, the
It's just
Pixies hard for me.
I'm like, "Oh shit." Like it puts me like in a very intense like headspace. And Sabrina Carpenter, just like her music coupled with Southern California, blue sky, palm trees, sunshine
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
palm and all that. It's just like so I don't know, I love her.
Mm.
And it's funny because the twins like so Adam's getting himself to and from school and all his things because he's older now. So that it's me with the twins and they're 15 and we get in the car and I don't know why I'm more self-conscious about my musical taste with Adam because he's become that like he likes good music
Yeah.
and I remember that I just had like a playlist on and there's some music because we like a lot of the same music. He has a big kind of like yeah, like he loves the Pixies, he loves
Mm-hmm.
Smashing Pumpkins, all that. And then a Sabrina Carpenter song popped up when I was driving with him and he's like listening to it. And I'm like, I like Sabrina Carpenter. And he's like, I like the song. I get it. I get it. And then he revealed, like, he goes, no, like I have like a whole playlist that is what did he call it? Something like teen girl music that
Uh-huh.
he'll listen to. So he's like Lady Gaga on there and shit like
Uh-huh.
that. And he goes, so I have like he goes, I'm gonna add this to that. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then with the twins, it's totally different. I'm like, hey guys, we're gonna listen to Sabrina Carpenter. And they're like, okay. They don't care. They're like, okay.
That reminds me of when we were all living at the Jackie Apartments
Yeah.
in like 19 was it 1999 or 2000?
Uh
1999 or 1998?
98, 99.
Okay. Remember my secret, my big secret was
Boy band
I liked
music.
Alanis Morissette.
You like Alanis Morissette?
I liked her back. I
Liked
do.
her.
There's a song that I really like that she sings that's so amazing.
What
But
is
I
it?
like you know that this song called You're Uninvited.
Oh,
It was
Uninvited, yeah.
it's so good. Um
It's a pretty epic song and
yeah.
it was an anthem at Mitchell Brothers for a
Oh
couple of the
yeah?
dancers. Yeah. You'd get
It's
like good
epic.
dancers like dancing really well to like a song like that you better be a good dancer. You know what I mean? Cuz
Oh
it's
god,
very
that
it's like very it builds and it builds and it builds and if you're just like shaking your ass it doesn't work. So we get like these kind of ballet-ish strippers.
ooh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
But all that to say that I am a big Sabrina Carpenter fan. I just love her new album and I was listening to it driving back home and yeah, the twins they're gonna listen to it when I pick them up.
All right. Maybe I'll
They're
try it. I've been
I
hesitant.
love it.
I really think I think she's beautiful. I think she's like
Sabrina,
really pretty. Yeah.
there's this. You would love her on TikTok. She goes by DJ Hungry Human. I love her. Like, I would love to be friends with her. She's so fucking funny, and her kind of takes on things are hysterical. And she refers to Sabrina Carpenter as sexed up Polly Pocket. And I'm like, accurate. I mean, she's
Yeah.
like 5 feet tall and looks like
Uh-huh.
Skipper,
Uh-huh.
like from the Barbies.
Uh-huh.
And she's, she's this kind of, she's very adorable,
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
kind of want to pick her up with one hand and like pat her hair. I want to brush her hair. I want to put her in my pocket, pull her out, brush her hair, like put makeup on her, set her down and go, entertain me, sing, Sabrina. She's adorable. But that's it. Not anything crazy. Just enjoying Sabrina Carpenter's music.
It's the last adorable thing that's about to happen for the next hour and a half.
Yes. So please, everyone, hold tight to that thought of Sabrina Carpenter singing. Um, we are going to talk about family annihilators, but mainly we are talking about
Ooh,
Emily Long.
I'm
Yes.
sorry. I have a correction from last time.
Okay.
I misspoke. I watched a very old documentary and did not factor in that the documentary was only a few years after Columbine. So, based on that documentary, I said that Dylan Klebold's mom and Brooks Brown's parents still lived in Columbine, but they did not. They do not. They moved away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say at the very least, I think Brooks Brown's parents stayed so he could finish high school,
Yeah.
but he
For a
didn't
few
have
years.
much. Yeah, he didn't have much further to go with that. So, those of you who are not familiar with the case of Emily Long, I'm going to give you a quick summary. So, this story is out of Madbury, New Hampshire. Emily Long, a 34-year-old mother, was involved in a devastating murder suicide that claimed the lives of her husband and two young children. Authorities believe she shot her family before turning the gun on herself, leaving behind a 3-year-old toddler, a little boy, who was unharmed. This case has layers, including the fact that her husband was battling with brain cancer, terminal brain cancer. There's also allegations that Emily embezzled over $600,000 from her job at a local restaurant chain, Wingett's.
Wing it. Winging it.
Wingett's. And so that's a summary. Few details about the family. Emily Long was 34, married to Ryan Long, who was 48. Three children that they had: Parker, 8 years old; Ryan, who's a girl named after her father, 6 years old; and a 3-year-old boy, whose name is, not being released for privacy reasons. The husband was, as I said, fighting terminal brain cancer. And Emily had a social media presence where she was sharing these, struggles of
I'm like talking endlessly about her problems.
yes.
Yeah.
You could almost say
You're
she was
such a
pontificating about her problems, if that's possible.
you
Yeah.
said it in such a kind way, but I watched a bunch of the videos last night and I was just like, oh, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
So much to say about them. Yeah.
So the incident happened on August 18th of this year, 2025. The police responded to the family's home on don't Maharamet Drive, if I pronounced that correctly. Let me know anybody that knows that area of New Hampshire. Maharamet Drive. Okay. There was a call about multiple deaths. They found four bodies: Emily, Ryan, Parker, and young Ryan, all from gunshot wounds. The toddler was safe and is now with relatives. I'm not clear on if that 3-year-old was wandering around the house or if he was asleep when this
Mm.
happened, hoping that he was just asleep and had no idea. So the autopsy findings are that Ryan Long died from multiple gunshot wounds. The two kids, each from single gunshots. and Emily from a self inflicted gunshot wound. No motive has been officially confirmed, but sources point to family stresses, including Ryan's illness. And then some additional context. Just days before, on August 11th, Emily was accused of stealing hundreds of thousands from her employer, Wingett's. She was an operations manager there. This embezzlement allegedly happened over several years and was reported to police. So we've got the added pressure of financial financial problems, looming financial problems.
And that was like a week before.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so there's some speculation that these factors might have contributed. They were seen as a normal family. Ryan was he a software engineer or a teacher? I'm
He was
confused.
a school psychologist.
Okay, yeah, I have no idea why this is saying he was a software engineer. Okay, school psychologist, which I doubt was very lucrative. Emily worked in restaurant operations.
That can pay well. I mean, it can pay not supremely well, but seems like that company was very successful. That she was able to embezzle 600,000 and they didn't go under. So it seems like it was quite a
It was a
successful.
chain, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting because I'm hearing that. I mean, aside from the fact that it's hard to know, like, what's just the media trying to dress up for clicks, like they seemed like they had everything, the seemingly perfect family. And I'm like, did people actually think that? Or is that just like the headline so that it like people are like, oh, they were rich, they were doing great. And then she went crazy. And I'm like, it's rarely is it ever that cut and dry. Like clearly there were issues. I mean, aside from the husband's terminal brain cancer, the costs of dealing with that.
She a little bit reminds me of oh, what's her face? The one who drank and crashed the van with all the kids in it.
Diane,
Wasn't she also an
Aunt Diane.
operations person? Yeah. I think or something. She was
Yeah.
so I think that
She
this
did really well. Diane Schuler did really like she first of all, she was the breadwinner. Like she aside from the drinking, like
Mhm.
aside from this from the severe alcoholism, that high functioning alcoholism, she kind of did everything right. Do you know what I mean? She was very self sacrificing.
Yeah, that's what this person well, this person doesn't seem self Emily Long does not seem
That's
self-sacrificing to
not
me,
the vibe I'm getting.
but she seems very like Diane on the outside. Like even in her testimonial videos that she's making,
Yeah,
I do not detect any emotion. Like she's even though she's this horrible thing's happening to her and she's describing how horrible it is, the face she presents to the world looks okay. Like she looked okay. She kind of I bet she's hyper functional in her life. It seemed like their house was amazing. I saw a photo of it. The interior of their house was gorgeous. And so I think they do look like the perfect family. The guy, her boss, apparently loved her kids and was felt very close to them. He trusted her wholeheartedly. She does remind me of one of those people that have a lot going on inside, like the duck, going across the water, but
yeah,
the legs are like, "Eh."
yeah.
um, yeah. So interesting. But Diane Schuler came to mind because of the like hyper independence almost, or something, or hyper competence.
Right,
Yeah,
right. And her secret was her alcoholism, whereas I mean, in denial about her alcoholism, but Emily's secret was all that
shopping.
money. Yeah, some things. And again, there's no confirmation, but because again, you could almost have sympathy in a way. At first, I thought, oh, the embezzling money is because of medical bills, and it's like, no, this was going on long before his diagnosis. Like
It was
this
after the
was,
birth of. I wonder if the birth of the third kid, or if she had a shopping addiction or something like that, or keeping up with people addiction.
yeah,
You mentioned the shopping thing this morning.
yeah.
That did not even cross my mind, but
That
you
was
can.
that was what someone
Mhm.
had. I don't know if it was like they opined or if there was some confirmation of it, but at the very least, it's speculation. Like, where did the money go? Because I don't think it was present in her. You
Their
know,
house was huge. Like from the photo, looked huge and well kept. Like they probably had help.
for sure.
And The other part I was going to mention is, oh yeah, so I guess the embezzling started in 2023, and that must have been, so if they caught it in 2025, it was like after the birth of her last child, and I wonder if just the financial burden or the like kicked it off. I don't know. I
Right.
just wondering what would precipitate, her starting to embezzle, because he didn't have his diagnosis then.
Right, right. Or and it's a question too of, was she in charge of finances? Like, was she handling all the money where this, I mean, it had to have been, because I
Yeah,
feel like it's escaping, it escaped the husband's notice, I think. I'm not sure if well, did he know?
I don't think so. I guess he's like was super. People loved him at the school. I wonder about their relationship. I mean, I don't know. Did he know? I don't know. I
We don't
mean,
know.
yeah.
If he did, he was carrying it with him, you know.
Hmm. Ooh, yeah. That adds an interesting element. There's so much we don't know. Like, if he knew and they got caught, if they decided together that this was something that they would do. I don't know, but that's really interesting.
It's interesting that she shot him multiple times, but the children each once.
I know. I was like, that seems like anger to me. Like, and yeah, for whatever, I don't know, leaving her, getting sick, I don't know. In her videos, oh, it's so me, 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 me. And she was talking about the things she'll miss about her husband, and what she would miss about him is the things he was doing for her. Like when I come
Interesting.
home, when I come home at the end of the day, he just some weird stuff always happens to me. And I tell him the stories, and then he makes fun of me and laughs, and me, 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 me. There's this interesting quote from one of them. So the control piece, like how control is often a piece. Well, coercive control is often a piece that is evident in family annihilators. It's like the thing with male family annihilators. But with female family annihilators, they say that they're motivated by different things. But with her, you can just hear the control stuff. So she said, it's hard. It's just hard to have this life and to have absolutely nothing in my control. And she mentions control a bunch of other times. She's obviously, we all, I mean, anxiety makes us all want to have a control agenda. She said, I'm not ready to be everything for everyone all at once. This was supposed to be my husband's part. So he was supposed to be there, right? You can hear the chord of sort of like disappointment, grievance. And she kept referring to her situation as such a bummer, which I thought was so
Terminal
interesting.
cancer is a bummer, I guess. Like, maybe a little
Yeah.
more serious than that.
She has that classic psychopath or narcissist, like Chris Watts, right? I was bawling my eyes out. Is him describing what was happening for him when he, you know, but he's not. It doesn't have any emotional weight. You don't feel like he's feeling it. He's describing it. She does the same thing. There's hardly any tears ever. She says in one video that she was crying, but she was crying and she was kind of wiping her eyes, but I didn't see any tears. Maybe there are videos where she's crying, but she has a lot of describing about how hard it is for her and how not ready she is for it. Nothing like, I love my husband so much, I'm gonna, I didn't listen to all of them, but it's very self-centered, very much about her, very much about not having control. So that all really tracks in terms of motivation, right? Like the
Hmm.
control. What does she have control over? You know, pushing a
Right.
reset button. She even says that in one of her videos. We were talking yesterday, and I was like, it almost feels like when people do this, it's like a video game. Like they're hitting the reset button. Like they're like, this didn't work out. Or like when you did choose your own adventures and you would read and you get to this terrible end and you're like, ah, and you go back and you do it over. It almost feels like that. And she says something like that. Like, this can't be my reality. I wish I could just like push a button and start over, something like that. So those are sort of the signs in all of her videos.
That's really interesting. Because, like you had said, that men make up 90% of family annihilators, which
Yeah.
leaves, of course, like this really small percentage of women that actually do this. Just why this case stood out. I mean, it's brand new. We're still learning stuff as it comes out.
Mhm.
One thing that has perplexed a lot of people is the fact that she didn't kill the 3-year-old. And I've heard a few different theories. One is that she ran out of ammunition, and that if there was going to be one more bullet, it was she was going to save it for herself
Whoa.
to make sure she wasn't going to fucking stick around.
No.
So that it was, another theory is that she was just so kind of out of it at this point.
Mhm.
Presumably she's never killed anybody before,
Mhm.
so it's just that overwhelming feeling of, I just shot these two of my children and my husband. I gotta go. Not
Yes.
even thinking like that. Someone else said maybe she thought that she had killed the 3-year-old, because we don't know
Mm.
where people were in the house when this happened.
Yes, yes, yes.
So it could be the reason why her husband sustained so many gunshots is because it could be that she's not adept with guns. And so she's like, and,
Uh-huh.
listing off these shots. And then finally, kind of is able to get some control and like narrow it down. Maybe he was coming towards her, like, what are you doing?
Mhm, mhm.
Because it's
Mm.
it's not stated. Was he shot the front of the head, back of the head, in the chest, like where on his person? And that the little kids were easier because maybe they were asleep, so she was able to get off a single shot each.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I mean, there's still things we don't know about that, but
Mhm.
it's interesting because this particular case kind of mirrors, to some degree, the Candies, Jonathan Candy and his wife in Oklahoma,
Mhm.
which happened. Let me see. When did that happen? I think it was this year. Let me
There's
look.
not a lot of like info about that. Want me to say a little bit about the different motivations between men and women while you're
Please,
looking? Okay.
please.
So for male family annihilators, like they're like 90% of the perpetrators, tends to be control and power. So coercive control is often a part of their the situation, the relationship situation. If you look at it, sometimes it's revenge. So like punishing. So that happens a lot with custody cases and stuff like and that kind of thing.
Right.
Um, Altruistic delusions, like I'm saving my family from the coming apocalypse, and then financial stress. So, and the guys actually often exhibit narcissistic personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder, or borderline personality. They tend to externalize blame, viewing themselves as victims of circumstances or betrayal, probably may have a history of domestic violence. So with women, the motives are tend to be different, which I don't not all, it's not all one. We're not a monolith. They're not
Right.
they are not a monolith. So there it's usually like altruistic or psychotic motives. So motivated by like delusional or altruistic beliefs. It's often tied to mental illness and they believe they're protecting their children from harm, and sometimes it's linked to their maternal role, which I thought was interesting. So it might be like distorted perceptions of their role as caregiver, so seeing death as like a mercy to their kid, something like Munchausen by proxy kind of thing. And then emotional distress, so overwhelming despair, depression, postpartum psychosis. So it's interesting because they tend to be impulsive but depressive, which is just interesting. It's linked more to like depression, postpartum psychosis, less likely to have narcissistic or antisocial traits when you compare them to males. And they tend to internalize the blame and seeing themselves as failures. So it's interesting. I mean, it just tracks, right, with what we know about our socialization as men and women,
Sure. I mean, that makes sense in the case of like Andrea Yates, who had, she was having like religious psychotic episodes, struggling with mental illness, struggling with postpartum,
Mm-hmm.
and believed that she had to save her children's souls by drowning them all.
Yes.
So, like, you see that. I see that a little bit also with John List,
Mm-hmm.
who in 1971 had killed his wife, his children, and his own mother in New Jersey,
Yeah.
and believed that he had to kill them but he couldn't kill himself because suicide is a sin. But he killed them. His wife had, I mean, they were having mounting financial problems. His wife was dealing with this weird kind of mental shit from having syphilis for so long that she kept secret, and was an alcoholic, and like all of these things. He was diagnosed with OCD though.
He seemed like he was like this woman to me, like that he was pushing the eject button, you know? He's like, "Get me out of here. I wanna
Right.
start over." I mean, she killed herself, so she didn't, well, I guess, but for her, maybe that was a starting over. But if it had that sort of
Yeah.
vibe of, like, functional, middle, everything looks on the outside, has a job, and then, so what contributed to that one, did they
To
say?
John
Did people
List,
say? Yeah, uh-huh.
it was a few things.
Mhm.
Some of it was severe financial
Yeah, okay, that's what I
like
thought.
problems. He
Okay.
he had lost his job, was funneling money from his mother's account to cover the mortgage. He was encouraging his kids to get jobs,
Mhm,
and saying,
mhm,
oh, this is to help you guys learn, financial literacy and maturity and discipline. But he was actually hoping that they would be able to help contribute. But it was too much. And his wife had, this isn't to shame the victim, these are just what the information that's presented, but she had lied to him that she was pregnant and that they needed to get married, told him that they needed to get married, she wanted to get married in this other state, but it's a state that didn't require testing for syphilis, which she had untreated. Got married to him. They had their kids. Her syphilis was now at a point where it was affecting her thinking. She was drinking and drinking and drinking, becoming very reclusive and verbally abusive and humiliating John in front of like their friends about his
mhm.
his bad sexual prowess, and comparing it to her first husband, who I guess was better.
And who also had syphilis, maybe?
Yeah, probably, maybe, who gave her the fucking syphilis, which is weird. I'm like, why are you?
Why not treat it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
Mhm,
know the details of syphilis. I just knew that I don't think John List had it. So maybe at the point that they got together, she wasn't contagious anymore, but she
mm,
never disclosed that she had it. So and then so things got to a point where he was like, all right, fuck this. The way he went about it was crazy. So he this is his OCD at work.
mhm,
He'd already planned everything out. He went to the bank, closed out his mother's account, sent notes, or alerted the schools and the kids' various jobs that they were going to be going out of town to be with their ailing grandmother, I think on the mother's side. She wasn't ailing. She was supposed to actually come visit them for a trip, and then something got in the way and she couldn't, the mother's mom. So that fucking saved her life because she would have been killed.
mm,
Then he went to daughter came home, shot her. Well, first shot his mother, shot his wife,
mhm,
shot his daughter that came home from school, shot
mhm,
his other son that came home from school, sat down, had lunch, went to the other son's school who was having a soccer game, sat
mhm,
and watched the soccer game,
mm,
took the kid out to eat, came home, shot him,
mhm,
methodical,
mhm,
turned the air conditioning at a temperature to preserve the bodies, stacked them all neatly in the ballroom. They had a really big old house in the ballroom, turned on all the lights, turned on religious music,
I
and
remember
left.
this, yeah.
Yeah, got on a train, left town, changed his identity. This was the 70s where you could do that. It makes me wonder if this was the 70s, if Emily Long would have just straight up left and started a new life somewhere else, because you could get away with it then.
Yeah, you could.
And yeah, and then he went and got a job like doing accounting type shit in Colorado, got married. I want to, did he have kids again? I can't remember. Got married. And then America's Most Wanted happened. I think it was the first season they aired, and someone recognized him, and that's how he was captured. And he kind of, people were like, well, why didn't you kill yourself? And he's like, I didn't want to go to hell. It's a sin, but I wanted to save
Wow.
their souls and all of that.
Interesting.
Imagine being his fucking second wife, dude.
I
And it's
know.
like, oh, okay. Um, yeah, I was thinking maybe you were having an affair. That would have been preferable to this. You killed your whole fucking other family. Like,
Unbelievable. No, I know. I think about this all the time. Like, people in this world are dating people or married to people who have raped people, molested children, killed someone potentially. It's like,
yeah.
I just listened to a Crime Junkie episode about this. It happened to a woman. But yeah, so like these, it's interesting because he had that accountant, he's accountant, right? OCD accountant thing. She has the operations person vibe. As a former operations person, I can tell you, she just seems, just like she would go into an interview, people would trust her with everything. She seems so sturdy and solid, and it's wild looking at her in those videos and seeing that she went from that state to just blowing everyone away. Did you want to say something about the other guy though?
The Oklahoma fella.
Jonathan Candy, yeah.
Just that he kept that he another case of a seemingly perfect
Hmm.
family, killed his wife, killed two of his children, spared the 10-year-old. The 10-year
Hmm.
old woke up in the morning to find his family killed. So he had a fan, I guess a fan on. I'm not sure how big their house was, but wherever he was, his room and like this loud, like one of the swamp coolers or whatever, drown out the noise, and he slept through it. And so no one knows why he was spared, the 10-year-old. Here's just a quick like report about it. So this was in April of 2024. It was just so Jonathan Candy, 42, that was the father, killed his wife, 39-year-old Lindsay Candy, and sons, 18-year-old Dylan, 14-year-old Ethan, and 12-year-old Lucas. And then the 10-year-old who's unnamed was spared. And they don't know what happened. They were the husband and wife were having an argument, so that might have been the like inciting incident.
Hmm.
Let's see. Investigators believe the shooting began after an argument between the parents late Sunday night or early Monday morning. At some point, he armed himself with a gun, shot his wife multiple times, killing
Mm.
her. At that point, he systematically went through the home, shooting and killing the children.
Mm.
Investigators said it's not known why the fourth child was spared or a motive for the shootings to begin with.
God. Whenever we talk about this stuff, I think about how it happens in nature too. Like animals, usually for like survival of the species related stuff, like resources. And if one of the babies it has like an injury, they'll sort of dedicate resources to the other ones and kick them out of the nest or whatever. It just is so similar to me, the behavior in humans. It seems a lot of it seems to be motivated around resources, whether it's like emotional resources or time or money, that leads to these kinds of pressures. I wonder, I haven't really thought this through, but like I would wonder if there's a through line if we looked at every single, aside from the psychotic ones, like the delusional murders that are kind of altruistic. I'm thinking like, wow, yeah, is that a thing? Like where a lot of these do revolve around a resource management issue.
Well, you think about like in shit, Spartan women, I think, taking their children and jumping off a cliff to avoid like being raped and murdered
Yeah.
by these armies coming in.
Hmm.
And that's honorable, right? You think that makes sense because it's the degree of urgency, and
It's altruistic. It's
it's
like,
100%.
mhm,
You get it. It's like this is preferable to
I have
being,
control. Yeah.
yes, raped and murdered by these soldiers. That makes sense. In something like Emily Long's case, it became an issue of shame,
Yeah,
right? Being
she seems
shamed.
so narcissistic. I mean, I have not treated her. I am not diagnosing her, but she seems quite narcissistic. Can I read you a few comments? These are the best.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
Comments about her videos.
yeah, so these are some
Okay.
YouTube. people responding.
Okay.
And I have to admit, and I'm not trying to like diss her, but these people evoke, I mean, of course, they evoke anger in all of us because they just are, this is a very selfish, narcissistic thing to do, to take your children's life and your husband's life. So I am going to be a little hard on her. So this one user, Jayla Walker 8897 says, "What a needy, weak, self-indulgent, selfish, entitled woman. People nowadays can't handle anything anymore, and everything has to be vlogged, and every single thought has to be shared with everyone. Now the sole surviving child has to bear what she could not." I thought that was really insightful.
Yeah.
And this other one is like, every single one of her TikToks is all about her. Even when she said what she'd miss most, she said, telling him about my day, not hearing about his day. WTF. And then another one is like, watch me brag about my husband. That was the title of this. She said in her video. She's like, watch me brag about my husband. Then it's like, dot, 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 proceeds to talk about herself the whole time. So anyway.
Yeah, that is the thing. What was going to happen? She
Hmm.
was going to face jail time, right? Kids would probably have to go live with one of like her parents, his parents, whatever.
Hmm.
Lose the
Consequences.
house.
Hmm.
It's not the end of the fucking world.
I know. That
But
was her
imagine
only
that's the
move.
worst fucking thing that could happen to you. Like your husband is dying of brain cancer. You have the luxury of being alive. The time you're going to do in look how fast time goes.
I know.
But it is about her shame, her embarrassment, her humiliation. I'd like to add, what did she think was going to happen with the $600,000? Like that was going to go unnoticed?
I know they had a bookkeeper, but yes, I know. No, that's also reckless. She
That's
reminds
the
me more.
narcissism. It's thinking in the moment. It's always immediate gratification, immediate gratification. Like it over the course of 3 years, it kept adding up. But it's that impulsiveness and that need to sate whatever hunger she's having at the moment, and not thinking at all about. It's probably like I'll deal with it when I get to it, and
No
then six hundred
future.
thousand dollars later, here we are.
Yeah, and not being able, not being, not be well, yeah, not being able to look at like consequences down the road, not being able to really tolerate being exposed as someone who would do something like that. I think she fits the profile for a male perpetrator because she's got so many of these characteristics. Like, I don't know if she was controlling at home. We don't know anything about that, but it's like a lot in the videos was about control, and I get it. Like, yeah, it's out of control. You're out of control. This whole you're now the law is involved, and you're going to lose your job and have to pay the price of this. And she wasn't falling apart. I mean, visually, like, and if you look at her on the outside, her insides must have been burning. Otherwise, she wouldn't have done this. But it's such a it's such a testament to like the things we talk about on here about like how we all have an aversion to difficult feelings, right? And whenever we are things feel out of control, we all want to control things, but most of us stop before we would like injure someone to protect ourselves. And the fact that she could, that was her one solution, was to kill her whole family, it just speaks to her psychology and how rigid it was.
It's interesting too with narcissistic parents, because the children are just simply an extension of themselves, and they don't sort of exist as their own people. So for her shame was going to include the entire family. Her shame, and not thinking about how maybe if she just did herself in,
Right, she could
if she
spare
just
them.
yeah, if she did herself in, the kids had a real shot at. I mean, it's a trauma, but
I think that's
they,
why she killed them, though, because she couldn't bear for them to see her in that way.
again, making it about herself, and
Yep.
not that they will need therapy, they will go on with their lives, but they, like so many of us, will find a way to overcome and move on and shit. She robbed them of that, because yeah, it's her shame, her embarrassment, her not wanting to be seen in any kind of a negative light. So she's going to take them out. and convinced herself that it was, that it was an act of fucking love or whatever. But yeah, it screams narcissist. I mean, I'm not a therapist either and all that, but that's overwhelmingly what I've been seeing as speculation on what kind of a very, very Chris Watts, actually.
It is very Chris Watts. The interesting thing is, it makes me think about, my mind just went to like, when we're under stress, how we just are not our best selves. When we have a massive screw up like that, it's terrifying to get caught and to have to pay the price. I can so empathize with her. My stomach hurts thinking about it. And some people, when they get stressed and everything narrows and it's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Some people can find a bit of flexibility in that. They can go, I can call my mom, or I can like actually go to my boss and say, I really screwed up. I have a gambling addiction or whatever. And I want my job. I know you probably can't trust me. Can I make it up to you? Can I pay you back or whatever? She doesn't even go. It's like the thing in her mind is to, well, she's created this TikTok channel, which I think is really interesting. In the midst of this, is she trying to become an influencer with some kind of fantasy of like making that a viable income for her? I don't know what the motivation to share this was. And
No, you can actually. I have no idea if this is the thing, but you see a lot of people go to TikTok,
Mhm,
and there's one woman. She's not a. She's like, her whole kind of thing is, I'm a single mom trying to get my life together after this horrible thing happened, right? And
mhm,
so she vlogs about the realities of doing these, DoorDash,
mhm.
Postmates, Instacart, all that kind of stuff to try to earn money to pay, because she has a special needs child and she has these other kids, and like just the different things she's doing. People donate to her,
Yeah.
and she's being vulnerable online.
Mhm,
I don't get the impression there's anything insincere. She's very humble.
mhm,
She's very grateful for the help. You see that with people. There's one gentleman who made a TikTok sharing about the fact that he had a terminal illness and was
mhm.
trying to get donations so that people would help his wife and his unborn child, because he died before. No, he died right after, pretty shortly after his
Mm,
his baby was born.
mm,
And what's incredible, and this again is a testament to, I think, just in general, people are good. Like I fundamentally
mhm,
believe that. There's some shitty things that happen, but I think by and large, human beings are at their core good. And
mhm.
this guy, his GoFundMe raised enough money. I want to say it might have raised somewhere in the ballpark of a little over $800,000. Like he's like, please guys, I can't be there for my daughter's high school graduation, but you can.
Mhm.
Basically, like her graduation, her prom, her college, his wife's expenses, trying to deal with the fact that, his life insurance probably wasn't much, considering what she had to do on her own. But all that to say, getting back to Emily Long, that I think she probably consumed a lot of social media like TikTok, and then saw all of this and then was like, okay, well, my husband has a terminal illness, so maybe I can make a go of this.
Like,
And
did she explicitly ever like was she just trying to like
I'm
share her
so
story? Mm,
that I don't know, and maybe
mhm.
it's a case of her account. I couldn't access her TikTok, so her stuff is just whatever's been pulled, I think.
Yeah.
So I have no idea if she had a GoFundMe in her bio, or if she was too prideful for that, and so
Yeah.
was hoping that people would just do the Cash App thing, Venmo, because you can put that in your LinkedIn or whatever.
Yeah.
It could be also just for the fucking attention, to elicit sympathy, to elicit, all that kind of stuff, because that's another big thing with narcissists, is they fucking love attention. And it was just a way for her to get attention and get some validation through the comments, like, oh, mamas, you're doing the best you can, hey, keep your chin up. You look beautiful. You look so great. Oh my gosh, I love your car. That kind of shit that comes through.
It's just seemed very much like a diary. And at one point, she was like, she had a friend who's a therapist, and she's telling everybody, I know people would probably wonder why I'm not going to therapy, but my friend who's a therapist said when I'm ready, she's going to give me a referral. And she said something like, you guys are my therapy. And I'm like, no, just to put a warning out, like sharing the most intimate details of your life with a bunch of internet strangers is not therapy. It might be therapeutic, but
And
I
if
think
she actually has a friend who's a therapist, it makes me
I,
wonder if the therapist friend is like,
I
I think you need
know,
therapy, like now.
probably. And, probably feels terrible about not pushing harder maybe now.
Oh, yeah.
But there were probably no signs. This person
No.
looked cool as a cucumber, man. I mean, I guess that was just sort of like buried. The story was buried with her and her boss. I don't know where her parents were. I don't know how many, anything about her life. But yeah, it's this the keeping the secret, like needing to keep the secret to keep her view of, well, to avoid shame and to keep her view of herself, as
So is it possible that also just this culmination into the family annihilation was narcissistic collapse?
yeah, it seems like that to me. It seems like I'm not willing to have this experience like this. I'm not willing or able. And this is my best option here. Like I mean, and that's the move she made. I don't know if she entertained any other moves like coming clean, asking your family to forgive you, doing your time, like I guess none of those things were bearable to her. And the most bearable thing would be to wipe out her entire family except for her toddler. And that
Just
tells
just
you like
erasing just erasing everything. It's like
it
wiping
speaks
it
to
clean.
this yeah, it speaks to this the power of avoidance. Like what I always say to my clients is like nothing that happens inside of our skin is dangerous. But we respond to it like it's dangerous. What's actually dangerous and what really ruins people's lives is trying to get rid of those things or avoiding those things. And it's just the power of like, just like I cannot go there. I would rather, this spares me ever being known in their minds as a failure. Yeah, and the reset button, we talked about the Hart family. It reminds me of a bit of them, but they seemed more motivated by, well, that was also narcissism. The
Dude,
Hart
yeah.
family.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was everything. So because that's the thing with Emily, and again, that just it screams narcissism. Is that everything that's on the outside is all that matters? The appearance of the beautiful home, the beautiful
virtue.
family, the things and the stuff, right? Because clearly they're living beyond their means. If she's embezzling $600,000, it's they're living beyond their means. And public shame, or any kind of shame
Mm.
that is seen from the outside, is not tolerated, and usually leads to the narcissistic collapse. So like the walls closing in, like the boss saying, okay dude, like I have no choice but to get the police involved,
Yeah.
right? Because like just after that is when this happened. So she's got her
Hmm.
husband's terminal illness, and then she has what I'm guessing are like mounting bills because she can no longer embezzle any more money. So where's the money coming from? She's about to lose her fucking job and go to
Yeah.
jail. So she can't see anything outside of how bad this looks, and how embarrassing this is, and how humiliating this is, and what are people going to say? She's living in this affluent neighborhood. People think she's got everything. And now how's this going to look?
It's so like how it is for all of us, right? Like we have these strategies that we use to avoid certain feelings and things, right? And most of the times they work. We're able to sort of like not go to the places and I'm not advocating that we do that. I think we should actually just be able to like learn to have our feelings and accept them and not be phobic of them. But we all have those strategies. And then all these stressors pile on, right? And that strategy for buoying herself is the grandiose sort of I'm a super mom, I'm a, you know, now I'm a vlogger, and that just collapses, like you said. It's that it just crumbles because there's no way out. Like there's no way it wasn't going to get out. It reminds me of this episode I just watched last night of this show where a cop went and killed someone who he was having an affair with, because it was a man, and because the person he was having an affair with said he was going to make public the fact that he was having sex with him, and the guy was married to a woman, had a kid. So it's like being forced. It's almost like, like it's like a wild animal or something, just lashing out from the place of just, you're pinned down. And yeah, she couldn't find it in her to do something less destructive. I do wonder if she told the husband that night or something, and then something happened, and that's why she shot him. I don't
Oh, like
know.
he's like, I can't believe you did this. I mean, maybe we'll
Mm,
never know.
I
It
know.
clearly it happened impulsively. It
Hmm.
feels like it was an impulsive act because no one has said anything about a note.
Mm,
Even John List left a note.
mm.
You know,
Tidy little
tidy,
accountant.
perfect handwriting on stationery, uh, monogram stationery.
Yeah, with a little wax like
Yeah, yeah.
seal on it.
Shh. The Candy family, the husband. I mean, again, that sounded like there was a verbal altercation that led to this. So very
Mm,
impulsive. So it could be that this was
mhm.
an impulsive act where she maybe had a conversation that didn't go well with her husband. Maybe he probably understandably would have been like, I cannot fucking believe you did this. Like, what's going to happen now? I'm dying. I have X amount of time. How could you do this? Why did you do this? And then she's like,
Yeah.
I'm being verbally attacked. I can't take it. So who knows? Or maybe she was like, in her head, it was ramping up, ramping up, ramping up. This pressure to try and keep it all in just exploded when she was like, I have exactly X amount of
Yeah.
time before I'm supposed to go meet with my former boss at the police station or wherever. Like it was mounting. And then the Hart family, real quick rundown for those of you who don't know. Okay, the Hart family murders. The Hart family murders was a murder suicide which took place on March 26th, 2018. This was in Mendocino County, California. Jennifer Hart, 38, and her wife Sarah Hart, 38, killed themselves and their 6 adopted children: Sierra, 12, Abigail, 14, Jeremiah, 14, Devonte, 15, Hannah, 16, and Marcus, 19. Jennifer intentionally drove their SUV off a cliff, killing everyone in the family. Jennifer was in the driver's seat, and Sarah was in the front passenger seat. So they were famous because they sort of gained some attention because there's this famous image of Devante, who was, at the time the picture was taken, maybe 13, 14, and they were at a rally, and he had a sign that said free hugs, I think, and a cop went up to him and hugged him. And
Hmm.
the picture, Devante's face, like when you know what was going on in his life,
Yes.
the face, at first it looks like the face like crying, and it seems like this is about, wanting like racial justice and all that. This was like a lot of shit was going on with protests and marches and things around like Trayvon Martin and police violence. And so you see his face, and it's this face of like he's crying, right? And he's this cop is hugging him, and then so you see that, and you're like, oh, this is because it's a very intense, this is an intense topic, and there's so much discord in this country and blah blah blah. And then you find out that he was being fucking abused by
It looks like a
his.
help me face.
It
Looks like
does.
I
Yeah.
just ran out of the torture basement.
Right.
Hmm.
So for those who don't know, all of the children are black, and Sarah and her wife are white. So you've got two white lesbian women adopting all of these black children and preaching peace, love, and harmony And what they were doing was abusing these children and using them for clout, basically. Like, look at
Virtue
us, we're
signaling.
progressive, we're progressive white lesbians who want everyone to be happy, and we host these events, and we're just such a wonderful, diverse, peace-loving family. And they were starving the kids, they were abusing the kids, they were isolating the kids.
Mm.
Some of the children would sneak out and go to neighbors' houses and knock on the door and ask for food because they were being starved. And so calls would be made from different neighbors and stuff, calling like CPS. CPS would come, that they wouldn't be there. So they kept dodging these calls, they kept moving around. And this was a situation where then the walls were closing in,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
They were running out of shit to do. And so I don't know how much. I have the impression, and again, this may be worthy of its own episode.
Mhm.
I have the impression that Jennifer was kind of the driving force in that relationship, and Sarah was
The sub.
the sub. Basically, would kind of go along with what Jennifer wanted, but of course is equally guilty in this. But Jennifer had given everyone in the car like
Benadryl.
Benadryl to go to sleep, and then drove the car off of the cliff. And Devonte and I believe Sierra's bodies have never been recovered. But that was Jennifer's solution. I have no idea if Sarah knew this was happening or if Sarah was also given Benadryl. But they were
She
just
was on
driving.
Benadryl, yeah.
Oh, she did. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and
So that was
Sarah,
Oregon, right? Were they in Oregon and then drove to California? Was that? I think that's
and
what it
they went
was.
off the one, yeah,
The
and
101.
yeah, the one or the 101, I can't
Okay.
remember, but over those cliffs, and Jennifer had alcohol and Benadryl in her system.
Oh, so she was fucked up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, oof, that's a heartbreaking story. No pun intended.
I know.
Um,
So we're by accident we keep pulling all this shit. Like, this will blow your mind, and then
I
heartbreaking story.
mean,
It's totally by accident, guys. We're not trying to be funny or clever. It is, but
but Broken Hearts is that podcast about
it's a
the, and
great
it's so
one.
good.
It is
Yeah.
so good. Highly recommend. Search Broken Hearts podcast. It's all about them. It's several episodes. Really, really gets into the heart of like the women's backgrounds, details about them. I listened to it, but it was a long time ago. I listened to it, but again, another case. We bring it up because this is a case of another female family annihilator, and narcissism being at the root of, it seems.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? I did a little tiny bit of research just earlier when we were
Mhm.
talking, and I looked up all known female family annihilators dating back to 1930, all known American.
Sure.
And then it tells you, I gathered sort of the information about like motive and the information about like the different kind of psychology of male and female perpetrators. It's from the FBI and professionals, so I trust it. But I think there are outliers. It definitely seems like this to me, and the Hart family are they have a much more male profile.
That was what I was going to say. It
Yeah,
screams like, again, like Chris Watts type vibes. That the candy one is too, it's mysterious still. We still don't know what the motive beyond just what a fight. There had to have been something more.
yeah, and why it's interesting that some cases get so much traction and others don't. And it
Yeah.
makes, just I wonder why that died out. That story. It never took hold like some do.
People just weren't going to talk, I guess. I mean, I
Mhm.
don't know what kind of community they lived in,
Mhm.
but I think people have to be somewhat forthcoming with details about the family, and all anybody would give is that that John Candy was the kind of guy that, man, if he saw that you were in trouble, your car broke down, he would come out and try and help you fix it. Like, pillar of the
Wow.
community. Like they're just tight-lipped. Anyone in his
Yeah.
circle or in
Yeah.
her circle won't talk. And I think that's the reason why. Whereas, the Hart family had somewhat of a physical, like they also were
Yeah.
attention seekers.
And
Jennifer Hart
CPS
was.
had been involved, and yeah,
CPS
so
was involved. They had a bad reputation with their kids, and there were plenty of people willing to talk because they were outraged about the treatment of those children and this weird fucking phony representation that they are just like about peace, love, and happiness.
oh, the worst part is that, like, that an aunt of one of the children wanted to take the children, and the CPS people prevented her from taking the children and gave them to them. They interview her in one of the documentaries I watched,
Okay.
and that's another element, right? Because two white ladies versus a family member
Well,
who's
there is such a racial component here,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
and it's like, well, they're white.
yeah. It's wild, and they'd
Yeah.
already yes, I think they'd already adopted another kid or something, and that's yeah, so ugh.
And overwhelmed. I think Sarah was overwhelmed with, like, I mean, there's a lot of fucking kids.
Well, there's this is the thing that ties into this situation that's like in a lot of these cases,
Yeah.
you'll see custody family court issues basically that precipitate or put pressure on these on people. Like there are a lot of I can't think of the names of the people who have done this, but you hear you hear frequently like there's a custody dispute. Like Travis Decker,
Right.
right? Like he there was an issue
Which
with the custody they were having to right?
that seems like definitely, because I know that no one knows where he is, if he's still alive. I firmly believe he killed his daughters and then he went and he killed himself somewhere remotely where he would not be found.
They found bones.
Recently though?
Yeah, like 3 days ago, they're checking to see if
Okay.
they're his, so
Yeah. Because that's the thing. I don't think he's trying to live. Like I don't think his life was shit. He had mental health issues. He was living out of his car. He was broke. All of this shit.
war trauma.
Yes. And so you've got all that, and so I absolutely again everything closing in on him. He can't keep a job. He was as former military, being dishonorably discharged from the
National Guard.
was it the National Guard?
Yeah, he had joined the National Guard, and then he was losing that for some reason.
Okay, yeah, he was supposed to go and meet like once a month or something, and he had stopped doing that, and so he was dishonorably let go from that, which is a blow to somebody who is like former military. Oh, he was a reservist.
Uh-huh,
That's what it
yeah.
was.
Oh,
He was a
yeah, the Army
reservist.
Reserve. Is that
Yeah,
different?
I
I
don't
didn't
know,
Oh, yeah, I know.
but
My
it's
mind made them one thing.
right.
Yeah.
But he was, yeah, he had been pretty like elite level survivalist training.
He seemed like a Rambo. They were like, "Wait, don't approach him." There were all these warnings. He
Yeah.
might have been like a SEAL or something, or I don't know what.
I don't think he was a SEAL, but he had definitely had a pretty serious military background. So it seems to me that he's like, maybe it's like a thing where it's like everything's been taken from me. I have no home. I have no wife. I have no, now I'm losing my children. I've lost any kind of whatever honor that he had once in the military. So he takes out his daughters. If I can't have them, no one will.
Or it could have been revenge too, like if he was pissed off at his wife.
Well, exactly. So it's
Yeah.
it's that. It's like, okay, well, you're saying I don't get to have access to them anymore. Well, then you're not going to have no one's going to have access, and
Oof.
then no one's going to tell me how I'm going to live in this world. I'm taking myself out and I'm going to hide, and you'll never fucking find me, and you'll be looking for me, like almost like trying to go out with an upper hand, so to speak. Like
Yeah.
I
Ugh.
determine how I live and die. You
I'm
don't
in
get to determine
control.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the control issues,
Ugh.
but yeah. So that for custody, but yeah. So it's interesting. Is there a through line with, if we're just looking at American female family annihilators? It seems to me that the through line with these two that we've spoken about,
Mhm.
like you were saying, it feels more like traditionally masculine profile. What are some of the other examples? Are there any?
Yeah, there are a ton, but this is interesting though. So Another thing I gathered was that female annihilators comprise about 5 to 9% of cases. This is a 2014 study, though. Motives often involve mental illness, psychosis in 70% of the female cases versus control issues in males, rather than financial ruin. So yeah, she does seem to fit what the more male, or like less of a percentage of women tend to commit these crimes based on like financial ruin, based on like revenge or control. There's a bunch. So I'm trying to get over there. Let's see what it says. Okay, so motive, outcome. So severe depression, postpartum psychosis, Munchausen syndrome by proxy, financial disputes and revenge premeditated over money owed. Who's this? Michelle Anderson. She killed 6 family members: parents, brother, sister in law, 2 nephews. She did that with her. Andrea Yates, of course, postpartum psychosis, believes
I
Satan.
would put Lindsay Clancy in that as well. I know that that's still like we're not going to know much more until her trial next year.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I would put her in that because she tried to take herself out as well.
And then one in 1998, fear of, see, the custody thing. So it's like anything that's totally threatening. Like to most women, taking their kids away from them is gonna stir up a ton of anxiety and feelings of like loss and need to control. So yeah, I think it's really interesting. That seems like most women do this and they're psychotic, depressed, postpartum psychosis. And then a small percentage will do it for the reasons we see men do it more often, which are control, financial issues, that kind of thing, narcissism, you know. Like it's hard. I can't imagine being a mother and having somebody, having to split with someone and share my kids with them, especially if I didn't really like that person very much, and especially if that person was an awful person, awful person. I didn't trust them as a parent. You know, it'd be really, people have to face really hard things in the family court system that like
Right.
wrecks you, you know. And but most find a way. So I think,
Right.
yeah, I don't know what the prevention aspect would be, but I feel like the courts should really sort of understand that they're playing with fire here. You know, these are people's lives, and that's not the way the courts don't give a shit really about the mental health of the parents. I mean, aside from the custody issues, but they don't really know often what's going on and what's ratcheting up inside of the parent around all the interactions with the family courts. But then there's like inevitable stuff, or stuff you can't control that can, you know, I think about like parents who separate, like Travis Decker, right? If they were in family court, in the family court system, and he didn't really have work, he would still owe child support. I think and if you're making like minimum wage, they take a huge amount of your take home pay. And the calculation for what you owe for child support if you end up owing it. So like if she got 80% of the custody, that changes the equation in a massive way. I don't know if they were in court around money, but it's people, it's serious in terms of what it stirs up in people. And I think sometimes, wow, I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often, that people go absolutely ape shit over the stuff that happens in court.
Yeah, with the Travis Ducker thing, the thing that's so strange is like he and his ex got along, as I understand it. They got along fine, and
Hmm.
she was saying that she had never had any reason to not trust him because he would check in. He would always
Hmm.
answer her texts like, "How are things going?" Like when he had the girls, and he would
Yeah.
respond. I think it was a case where he was slowly kind of becoming more unhinged, maybe not
Yeah.
dangerous seeming, but like things were not going well for him.
Yep.
And she had concerns around that,
Yep.
valid concerns, of course. When you
Yes.
find out your ex who's been having mental health issues is living out of his car and like is
No.
like losing everything. But as far as their dynamic post divorce and everything, or post separation, whatever, I don't know if they were divorced or separated.
I think the main thing is like they weren't able to negotiate this on their own. They had to involve the courts, and that's what
Sure.
many family. And when you have a personality disorder or somebody who has really, mental health stuff struggles, that tends to happen, and then that's your only option, and then it gets very weird because I think it can exacerbate the symptoms of a personality
Oh,
disorder
yeah.
to be in family court. Yeah. And so I wonder if there's something like weird about it being formal for him. I don't know. But yeah.
I mean, or just involving a third party at all.
Yeah. Hmm.
But that one of the things I think that came up was, first of all, the fact that this was never, that there was no supervised visitation at the point that he's fucking doesn't, like,
Yeah.
he's clearly losing it. Like, he's lost his job. He was, kicked out of, like, the reserves. He doesn't have a home. He doesn't have the means really to care for these girls, that these should have been supervised visitation, because all of these are symptoms that somebody's mental health is like rapidly declining. Like,
Yes.
there's no structure in his life anymore. There was some outrage around that. Like, how the fuck was this not supervised? If it had been supervised,
There's so
you
many
know,
failures by CPS in
yeah.
these cases, that you like the Hart family, like, so the systems that are involved that push on and add stress to are always really interesting to me. But then what do you, I mean, that's the only system we have. Yeah. How do you improve that? Those kids should have been removed from that house way before the Hart family drove off that cliff.
Yeah. And they had CPS had been alerted plenty of
Yeah.
times. We complain about social services all the time in this podcast.
I mean, I
Like,
know, and I know a lot of people who worked in social services, and they are hardworking and doing their best. A
hard,
lot of them.
it's overworked and
Yeah.
underpaid and
Yeah.
under resourced. Like, there's a lot that are doing the very best they fucking can, but
Yeah.
when they've got case files, even in the Gabriel Fernandez case, I remember that one guy, like, like on his desk, and it's just this stack, 30 cases, like 30 people, and he's one
Oh,
person, and there's more. It's easy for things to fall through the cracks, but it's just, I don't know. It's hard. I mean, obviously, we're on the outside going, hi, this is glaringly obvious. There is a
mhm.
serious fucking problem. Also, why the hell do these two white women need so many children, and so many black children? Like, just so many. What drives me nuts?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and they definitely used them as sort of this ticket to
Yep.
virtuousness,
Yeah.
at their festivals and the dancing and the ugh. It's funny. We have gone all over the place with this episode, right?
Right.
We've kind of touched all the little, family annihilation, the systems that we families have to engage with, the pressures. This case also makes me feel about think about the pressures that any of us face who dare to have children in this country, and how it's so rare for people to have a net. Like if something were to fail, like losing a job, and the stakes are so much higher. I don't have kids. The stakes are so much higher for people who have kids. And it's, to me, makes so much sense to, want to protect them from your failures when there is an actual consequence for them that you've caused. Like being broke, like losing everything because she embezzled $600,000. It makes so much sense that that cuts to the like the center of you because you care so much. I mean, I think this case, she cared a lot about her image, but she probably also cared about her children as much as a psychopath can. I'm just kidding, but like as much, So I understand we live in a world where it's so precarious for so many people. I guess is what I'm saying, and it just makes me think about, yeah, like what do you do when the bottom drops out, if it's your fault or not your fault, and how some of us are just less flexible. And that, I mean, I think that's the thing about personality disorders and narcissism is like where most of us could find a way to deal with it that's, and that doesn't involve killing our whole families, some people really cannot, and we are walking around with them all the time, and they have kids and they have stresses and they have, so I don't know. I think we live in a world that kind of unless you're have some are somewhat sane and have some flexibility psychologically, it can kind of break you.
Yeah, I guess not all these narcissists can be Jordan Belfort, who fucking. I'm telling you, Emily Long ironically, she could
Uh-huh.
have used this to her benefit. You
What's
know,
Jordan Belfort? What's that?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, right.
He
Right.
completely like it's like, hi, I fucking did this horrible, crazy, shitty, stupid ass thing, and then Martin Scorsese makes a movie about me, and he's interviewed. He goes on like he has rebranded himself. He's the
Yes.
notorious Jordan Belfort. I mean,
Interesting.
what he did was, I think, humiliating and absolutely like grotesque. How he fucked people over,
Yes.
but he rebranded himself. He brilliantly rebranded himself.
Yes. Oh, that's
Horrible person,
interesting.
but he did that. Emily Long could have been like, "Hi, I set my life on fire. Want to hear about it?"
And gotten a bunch of money from people. She could have, like, gone on TikTok and then talked about that, I
She
guess,
could have
from her
talked about
jail
that on
cell.
TikTok. She could have been in her jail cell and written a fucking book with a ghostwriter about how she set her life on fire and did all these things. Like, I don't know. There's a thing of like, but again, for a lot of narcissists, it's the humiliation. Like they just don't have the backbone to deal with the inevitable humiliation that they would have to endure before stepping over it and into this other kind of realm. And
The whole game, yeah, the whole game is organized to avoid those feelings, the whole
yeah,
game. That's the
yeah.
whole. I like what you said, though, because it connected what I was saying before was not super connected to, like, family annihilation, but yeah, I think that you bring in a really good point about how we can people can do horrible things and they can find redemption or find some way through. But this is the Balfour.
Belfort.
I've never watched Wolf of Wall Street. I don't know anything about this. This is so great.
Yeah.
But he found a way to back to the grandiosity, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He I think he had enough notoriety
Mm-hmm.
that like he was a bad boy. Like again, the Wolf of Wall Street. It's like, I mean, also he was a larger figure and living large and all of that, and just was through and through just so completely arrogant,
Yeah.
that he's going to think anything he does is really fucking awesome, right?
Hmm.
So I mean, he's more of a psychopath than anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
I think all like psychopaths generally, as part of being a psychopath, have the heavy narcissistic traits. Whereas I think that Emily Long is just strictly a narcissist, it seems.
It's funny. I got this psychopath vibe from her because of how like they say that when psychopaths kill people, they move slowly and methodically. It's not this kind of spazzy, like emotional outburst. There's a coldness and a containment in the presentation. And with her, she seemed cold and contained, but not grandiose. I mean, she seemed self-centered. She seemed like a down-to-earth person. If you met her somewhere, you'd like at a party or something, you'd talk to her and you'd be like, "Oh, this is just a mom who has her shit together."
By all
And
accounts, she was likable. Like from
yeah,
some of the people that were writing in, were saying like, "Oh, it was her roommate. She was a good roommate." Like I can't really point to anything about her that was bad, except that she skipped out and the other person lost their deposit because she just like bailed on paying her rent in the last couple months or something. But
well,
other than
that's
that,
interesting.
that's
So
pretty like thanks.
yeah. So the other part was that she said that her husband taught her how to love. I could tell that she comes from a background where either she didn't learn, people weren't asking her about her experience because she doesn't really have a vocabulary to speak to the different kinds of deep feelings. She either doesn't have the feelings or she doesn't have the vocabulary because she was saying, it's such a bummer. We would probably be saying something like, it's totally devastating. I'm terrified. Her affect was pretty flat. She couldn't say anything that felt, I don't know.
Like they had any weight to them.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
it seemed like she would just sort of speak almost like in idiomatic expressions and
Yeah.
like vague language.
Yeah. I mean, I who knows? She could be neither. She could just be like a gambling addict and just desperate and killed everyone. But she did have that sort of the present. I mean, you see it in the comments. Everybody can see it. They're like,
Right.
This person's really selfish." Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of like our exploration of family annihilators with the focus on women, the rare few. And these ones were particularly interesting because they do well. I mean, Emily Long did just with her kind of male presenting. There's still not a whole lot of information. I mean, we'll probably revisit this a little bit as more comes out, if more comes out. I fully expected more to come out, but it's been over a year with the Jonathan Candy case out of Oklahoma, but we'll never know. I don't think that anyone is going to speak openly about if they had a personal close relationship with that family. They're not saying anything. So I don't think we're going to know. But with Emily Long, I think that it's so shocking and so bizarre. Again, when you see a woman, a seemingly normal woman,
Hmm.
do something this atrocious, I think we'll probably see a little more information as it comes out. I'm curious if there was a note. I don't think there was. I feel like they would have mentioned that.
I feel so sad for that little boy. I don't even know if he went to family. I don't know what happened
He
with.
is with family.
Oh, yes. Okay, good.
Yeah, he's with family. I hope he was not wandering around that fucking house. I
Yeah.
hope that he was like just asleep or something, and that he was just although no, I doubt it, because a welfare, I think somebody had to have called in a welfare check,
Yeah.
because
They did.
which
Yes.
means that little boy was just probably awake in that house. Oh geez, yeah. Young, like still 3 years old, desperately going to need counseling, because already, according to her in the TikTok that I saw,
Oh, yeah.
the 3 year old was not dealing well with the fact that his father was dying.
Which that sounded so fake to me when she said that. I mean, I know the kid could have maybe had it would disrupted their psyche, but the way she described them as handling it is very. And also, he was not on death's door. He was not like people live with that for like 5 years sometimes, and so I
Right.
think I read that yesterday. I don't know where he was in terms of his treatments, but I don't think that they had been given like an imminent death date.
So he was like functioning, walking around, living.
I think we should double check that. I'm gonna double check that. And I'll say something about it next time.
Right. But yeah, so there's no way to know, like, well, also 3 years old, from what I understand from having 3 year old, my boys all, dealing with them all at the age of 3, is that they're not,
Not
the,
verbal. Well, they are, but not
they're
verbal.
quite, yeah, he was probably, yeah, mine were pretty chatty, but they kind of just like go off of what you show them. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? There's no like,
mhm.
hey, are you doing all right? You seem quiet. If you're quiet, and unless they're observing like a dynamic that's really crying.
Yeah.
If I was crying, the 3 year olds are going to be like, but
Yes.
if you're just kind of busy, if you're doing whatever, if you're stressed, they don't, as long as you're not affecting them too much, they don't pick up on shit as much. Now he might have been feeling I mean, finding out that you have a terminal illness. I don't know how the father was expressing what he was going through, if at all, or if
Mhm,
there was a lot of heightened kind of drama between both the parents that the 3 year old was picking up on. Then, yeah, they might he might have been not
mhm.
handling it well. But yeah, I mean, whatever he knew about that added to fucking seeing the carnage throughout the house. I feel for that
Ugh,
kid, man, and I hope he's getting what he needs.
me too.
Oh shit. On that note,
All right, folks. We hope you enjoyed this very depressing season of the Secret Passage podcast. Not just the
oh
episode, the whole
man,
season.
yeah, the season was dark. I mean, we cover a lot of like kind of dark, kind of odd, wild shit, but yeah, like between Columbine last week and then this week, you know, man. These are important topics. I mean, we talked about Columbine, and then there was the Minnesota school shooting.
Oh, yeah.
a different kind of, it wasn't students, so that just happened. And then the Emily Long stuff, of course, is very recent as well. It's just it's part of the it's part of like the national conversation right now. So we wanted to weigh in and bring up, family annihilators. That's a subject that we had been talking about for a long time, and that just we sort of hadn't kind of
Mm-mm.
talked about it in our these 3 seasons. So it felt at this point with Emily Long, it was like, oh shit, we should talk about it now.
Mm-hmm.
So we hope that you guys enjoy the rest of the warm weather, and we'll see you in the fall.
See you in the fall.
We'll announce our next episode, our return date soon, but it will be soon. And we thank you for your support. Thank you for listening. Please follow us if you don't already on our social media at Secret Passage Podcast on Instagram, at Secret Pass Pod on X, and we are also on TikTok at Secret Passage Podcast. And if you would consider joining our Patreon, we'd love to see you there as well. All right, Shannon,
Dana,
I will see you next season.
see you next season.
Bye,
See you,
guys.
everyone.